Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to round 6 and races 16, 17, and 18 of the 2025 Virtual Motorsport Online TCUK Championship. This week, TCUK visits the land of the North people, Norfolk, and the fantastic Snetterton circuit and its 300 layout. Long, fast corners combined with significant straights to make up tonight's 2.9-mile challenge for our drivers. And with corners and straights named to celebrate British racing heroes and international legends, who tonight from the TCUK field will try and write themselves into our history book. My name is Matthew Churgwin. Joining me this evening is Philip Morby. Say good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Great to be back, and ready for round 6.
Absolutely, and for the first time, and perhaps to jinx it ever so slightly, we're going to have to look to the skies. We've got some weather on our hands.
Yeah, I've been living a very close look at the old. I'm following the Met Office. I think it's my favourite website at the moment. Rain is coming. I don't know how. Maybe not too much, but there is a very good chance we're going to hit it during race. Well, it's going to hit us, in fact, during race 1.
Indeed, and of course, curse of the commentator, it might not happen now, but we've had a dry season so far, and Snetterton is an excellent circuit to race on, and well, we've raced on several others, and we've got quite a few ahead of us. So just to cover what we've got left on our schedule for this year, tonight 3 races at the 300 layout at Snetterton. We then make our visit north of the border into Scotland for Knockhill for 3 races. Donington Park and its Grand Prix layout will follow that. And to round out this year's championship, we'll of course visit the home of British motorsport, Silverstone, and then the national layout. And then last but not least, traditionally so, the GP layout at Brands Hatch. It's a stacked calendar. We're blessed to have so many excellent race circuits in this country, which we can visit with our fantastic touring car package. And Snetterton, it's got a long history. It's been around since the 1950s, yet another converted airfield. But this 300 layout, Phil, it's got a little bit of everything. And some interesting corners for our drivers to face tonight.
Yeah, I actually quite enjoy Snetterton because it's got a lot of slow corners. I'm not a fan of these fast-flowing corners. Admittedly, turn 1 and turn 3 are fast-flowing corners, but you've got a lot of these kind of hairpins and hard 90 lefts and rights that kind of split it all out nicely. What's going to be very fun to watch also is obviously the boost. They're 15 seconds per lap usage. You can easily use it up in the first half of the lap. So drivers have to take close attention to that.
Absolutely, and it's a track I think which rewards technique and critically patience. Lots of very long corners as well, where if you're a bit greedy on the throttle, you might just ever so slightly drift wide. And well, with several very long straights, critical to maintain momentum, get a good exit. It's a real challenge to get that balance right. And you mentioned those slow corners, lots of great overtaking opportunities into the like of the Montreal or Wilson hairpin, into Agostini, as well as maybe Murray's towards the end of the lap if you're feeling brave.
Yeah, that last corner, as we saw in touring cars, I think this year, when Gordon Shedden kind of got completely smashed off. It's a tricky old corner, that long right-hander into that braking zone, and also the likes of Brundle into Nelson, that kind of tightening left into the 90 right. After a very long Bentley straight. It's a tricky little combination, this place. It looks easy, but it can be deceiving.
Indeed. We'll have to see how our drivers face that challenge this evening. And we've got a few, I think, parish notices just to run through, a few drivers joining, a few drivers leaving. Let's run through those just before we get to race 1.
Yeah, so we have got, as you can see here, we've got Jardine Motorsports Independent, with Archie Jardine withdrawing from the series. Zachary Evans joins, replacing Jordan Richardson in the sole Vapor Shield racing car. That is because Jordan Richardson has joined, stick with me here, Drake Racing, as Cameron Brewster has left the series. Oliver Rogers back in number 14 for Dan Kell, and I'm going to get this name wrong, so apologies in advance. Johan Kajon stepped in for Callum Cripps. I know you said Callum Crisps because that's what the admin has written down. Other parish notices, there are 2 penalties to be aware of. Alan Smith has a 5-place grid drop going into this race, and Matt Richards sadly has a 1-round ban he is serving as part, so he will not be at Snetterton tonight.
Yes, good to see some new folks joining in mid-season. It's a long way to go yet to round out the championship. So great to see you coming along and joining. plenty of opportunity to get involved and hopefully some good racing.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I'm keeping an eye on this weather, whether it's going to occur or not. As we always say, make hay while the sun shines. They've just got a minute of practice to go and nothing yet, but, won't be long, he says.
So we've got a grid coming up for you from our qualifying. We've got Callum Wilson on pole position, followed by Scott Mitchell-Marmon, a nice little purple patch of form for the King's driver there. Again, I missed the second row, but let's run through the rest. So we've got Cedo Wire for Bamman 5th, Emil Salberg in 6th, Jordan Richardson for Drake. Good debut for him in 7th, with Thomas O'Leary in 8th. Fraser Hart will be starting in 9th place for the first race, with Ben Willis for Drake in 10th, Louis Neal in 11th, with Johan Cajon in 12th. Zach Evans stepping into Vapor Shield will be starting 13th, with Jack London for Clementi in 14th. Martha Allington starting 15th, with Carl Benton stepping in for Aidan Carter in 16th. Jordan Osborne in the Unlimited Esports Cupra will be starting 17th, with Jack Nichols in 18th. Alan Smith for Craven will be starting 19th, with Oliver Rogers for Clementi starting in 20th. Last run and rider for tonight, Mitch Marie starting 21st in the Calamity Ford Focus.
Yep, there'll be a slight restart. They're just quickly sorting out the grid, and some few drivers having a few technical problems. One driver has got no audio, which is I tried doing that once. It's very difficult. My headphones, my wireless headphones, died on me, and it was a Formula 3 race at Baku of all places. So going into the last lap with no audio, not very useful. So they're just going to hopefully, that driver's just going to restart their game, and hopefully we'll be able to go racing soon. Important to note, by the way, having a look at the standings at the moment, if Matt Richards serving that one-round ban, Callum Cripps not here, it gives O'Leary and Herlock to really make it a two-horse race. I mean, O'Leary's on 227 points, a whole 41 points ahead of Dan Herlock, who's on 186. But with Richards on 151, Cripps on 129, this is their opportunity to break away and make it a two-horse race going into those final 4 rounds.
We know that consistency wins championships. It certainly helps when you're consistently winning. O'Leary's definitely putting himself in the pound seat there with the most wins of anyone. But, it's all about stamina. It's all about endurance. A few drivers obviously missing this evening, which is a pity. But yes, we still got definitely at least a two-horse race. But all it needs is 1 or 2 bad rounds. We've all been there. We've all done it. And that 40-point gap can absolutely disappear. So it's not over yet, but certainly a good, strong position for O'Leary to be in at this stage of the season.
Yeah, I see that O'Leary was starting, I think, 7th there. I missed where Daniel Herlock was starting tonight. 5th. Okay, so sounds like they're both very close to each other. So that'll be a fun one to watch. Currently no rain on the server. They're doing a bit more warm-up, and I said for 10 past, and it hasn't happened, so it looks like my radar is not playing ball, or it has actually disappeared.
Curse of the commentator, weather edition.
It is a curse of the commentator, I think. I think we've missed it, he says, but there's 3.5 minutes left, just over 3.5 minutes, sorry, of warm-up, as we just kind of get this final few drivers sorting themselves out, and we will then go racing, which is... Are you? I haven't actually talked about this track much yet. Are you a fan of it?
Yes, hugely. I think if it wasn't for Thruxton being my local track, and I just love that place for its commitment, this would probably be my favourite circuit that we visit on the calendar. Particularly, there's something particularly about Ritchie's, the first corner, which just gels with me. I really like the challenge of that corner. And of course, it was reworked pretty extensively to add this infield section. It just has, as you said earlier, Phil, a little bit of everything. Fast corners, slow corners, long corners, which I'm sure we'll touch upon with tyre wear and our option tyre being soft this round. So, yeah, I like the challenge of this place.
Yeah, I think it's probably my 3rd place behind Thruxton. Obviously, Brands Hatch GP, as you know, I'm a big fan of. I've driven this place in the rain before, actually, at a different league in touring cars. In fact, it was I think it was the 60th anniversary, if you remember correctly. They did a double-length race, and when the league I was in, it absolutely chucked it down. I did a pretty good run of 15th to 5th with that early pit stop onto wets, but obviously with a double-length race, it made it useful. We've actually been here, haven't we? I think you were with me when we went here many years ago in the rain to watch the actual 60th anniversary race, if I remember correctly.
Yes, and we got rained on.
It was very
typical British weather.
It's good fun though. It was the first time I visited the circuit.
Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic circuit. I will say, obviously a circuit in the real world, run by Motorsport Vision. Fantastic as a spectator, excellent facilities, and an excellent circuit in general. You can see so much of it from some of the viewing spots, and just a lovely place to go and visit.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, we sat on the exit of Palmer, which allowed us, and you could basically from that you could then see Hamilton and Oggies and Williams kind of straight ahead of you, which was a wonderful little viewing platform. When you compare it to something like Thruxton, where you sit at the last corner, or the last chicane, or the first chicane. Yeah, really good facilities, and I'd love to go back there again. But obviously, for the likes of both of us, it's quite far away. Hampshire and Oxfordshire, we're based in. It's quite a long way, and around the good old M25, which I don't fancy doing at the best of times. So
yeah, I do recall when we did that trip together, we carpooled, and I think we did get stuck on a jam on the M25, and I want to say it had some biblical rain, if I recall correctly, yep. Which was slightly interesting. So so there we go.
We'll try and send it. Sorry. Yes, our cameraman's saying stop mentioning the rain. It's now not going to happen. Yeah, it is now looking that way. It looks like it's just about going to dodge the circuit. I'm using the Met Office. If anyone wants to sing along, go on the Met Office. You can search for Snetterton Motor Racing Circuit, and it gives you 10 minutes behind. It gives you observations and then forecast. And I was watching a weather band since about 7:30, kind of getting towards closer and closer to the circuit, and it literally gets to about 8:05, the latest observation, and it just disappears and it's just going north of the circuit. So it has missed it. Now, looking further ahead, are we going to get any tonight? We may get some at the end of race 3. There is a heavy band being forecasted to hit the circuit around 9:30, which is kind of as we're kind of getting ready or partway through race 3. So that may be our best shot for some rain. But, there are showers in the area. They could bubble up any time, so you never know. And
so it's I'm glad I'm not one of the drivers. It's always such a hard decision to go, do I stick with the slicks? Do I go with the wets? It's not easy, and as with everything, hindsight is 20/20. So I think you're just going to roll the dice. And it's a great leveler, the rain. I know it's a stereotype. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but it really does put, I'd say, car control and that soft, delicate touch. That really does make a difference when things get slippy.
It does indeed. They're moving to race shortly. There's admin just confirming that we are set up. 21 drivers and runners will be starting. Hopefully they will finish. We will wait and see. And probably worth just shouting about the rules on wet tyres while we're waiting for them to grid up, is they can use, if it's wet on the circuit during formation, obviously they can start on wets. And their option tyre moves across. So if they're elected option in race 1 and they decide to start with wets, they have to use the option in race 2. However, it is sunny. So as we just form up now, hopefully we'll get some live pictures of the circuit very shortly, and we can then we've got a long lap, obviously, to talk about as the formation lap, and of course we've got some good old issues. It means I need to get the ice cream spreadsheet out very shortly, and we'll go again. I think we're having our own technical issues as well, so
yeah, just going to restart the session, I think, there. Just another little technical hitch. Well, tell you what, I've prepared a few bits and pieces in case of such an eventuality. So I've already kind of alluded to it, actually. I think, like, Richie's is one of the I think one of the best corners on the calendar that we've got. It's a very fast right-hand corner, good corner for the start of a lap. And it's flat. There's a little bit of camber towards the end of the corner. It opens up a bit, but it's a proper challenge. You've got to, slow the car down, hope it rotates, and then very gently apply the power and hope that you don't overstep it, run wide, and then leave yourself vulnerable into Montreal. So I was curious, Phil, do you have a favourite corner on any of the tracks that we visit during the course of the TCUK?
Oh, blimey, the entire calendar. I mean, I suppose I have to. I hate the Knockhill chicane, thank you, cameraman, because I was fighting Ben Willis for a race a couple of years ago, and then I decided to yeet myself over that chicane and into the barrier, and Ben went on to win the race. That's why Ben Willis is a fan of Knockhill. I mean, obviously, based on that, I have to say last corner of Brands Hatch GP, as I went round to win that race a couple of years ago. No, favourite corner, I quite like Bomb Hole here. I think because it's you just have that tricky Brundle Nelson bit. It's a bit kind of controversial. What do you chuck a bit of boost on or not? And then it's the kind of corner you can kind of forget how very wrong it goes, because on the outside of that corner, if you run off, you are going to Narnia with the surprise massive bomb hole. It feels like on that outside there, which will bounce the car. We've seen that before in the real world as well.
Yeah, from my memory of this particular rendition of the circuit, there's a couple of curbs actually, exit curbs in particular. If you run your car onto them, you can have a real rocky ride. We've also got a few tyre stacks just to cover the corners, the apexes of the corners, to avoid some cheeky corner cutting.
Oh, Hamilton, I hate that one.
Immovable as well.
Yeah, I have nightmares of that Hamilton one.
Patience.
You just whack it, and
you don't want to take too much of that inside, because you'll be in trouble.
You will be in lots of trouble. I'm just bringing up. I'm just getting the old spreadsheet ready. To see who's put Snetterton down as one of their local circuits or favourite circuits. So yeah, as we know, Cameron Brewster, our friend, is from that neck of the woods. We haven't got any others that are near Snetterton. Oh, Jack Nicholls actually. His home circuit. Did not know that. So they want to put Snetterton as their favourite. Obviously Jack again. And Mr. Brewster. So yeah, it looks like we have cars on a formation lap.
We do. Let's run through that grid, that starting grid again for race 1 this evening. So starting on pole will be Callum Wilson for Richards & Co Racing, followed by the Kingsford Focus of Scott Mitchell-Malm. Luke Mitchell will be starting 3rd tonight, with Dan Hurlock in 4th. Dido Wire will be starting in 5th place, followed by the King's Car of Emil Salberg. Jordan Richardson for Drake will start 7th, with Thomas O'Leary championship leader in 8th. Fraser Hart will start 9th, with Ben Willis rounding out our top 10.
We've then got Louis Neal in 11th for Precious Automotive Racing. Johan John, get that right. Brabham Motorsport in 12th. Zach Evans in 13th, Vapor Shield Racing. Jack London 14th for Calamity. Martha Angleton, she starts 15th with newcomer Carl Benton, forgot to mention that, in 16th. Jordan Osborne in 17th, and Jack Nicholls, the local hero, starting in 18th for Kings. Oliver Rogers in 19th, and it's Alan Smith starting 20th. We've had Mitch Marie has sadly dropped out. He looks like having internet problems. They've dropped out quite a few times, so we are starting with 20, which means top 15 get points. There's a definitely places to make and opportunities to be made.
Absolutely. It's a pity to obviously lose a driver before the start of the race. We may not have real mechanical failures, but let's call these our own form of mechanical failure. So pity to lose a driver so early on. So drivers only just entering the 3rd sector of the lap. It is effectively a 3-mile lap here. 12 laps, I believe. Famous, right. Famous last statement. Cool. I can remember the race distance. That's a good thing, having not looked it up. So as they enter Coram, the 2nd to last corner, let's see how we fare.
It's not Karam.
Everyone is just kind of taking it steady. It's not Karam. No, Phil. I have to correct the pronunciation a little bit, but there are Coram into Murray's great combination. Possible overtaking opportunity there, although very, very tricky to pull off.
Yep, so now Callum Wilson just his tyres warmed up. One last go. Should probably mention who was actually starting on those soft option tyres. Cedo Wire, Zachary Evans, Martha Allington, Tom Stevens, and then I think that's it. So not actually many drivers on those softs.
So I think our grid is formed. A little bit of picture-in-picture for you this evening as we wait for the flag to drop. Lights out and away we go. Looks like a very good start there for Wilson using that rear-wheel drive advantage. Everyone else looks away fairly cleanly and evenly as they race their way down towards Ritchie's for the first time. 2x2 there for third and fourth place between Herlock and Mitchell. Everyone through turn one cleanly down into the braking zone of the Wilson hairpin for the first lap.
Yep, Dan Herlock there taking that third with his rival there in seventh. It looks like everyone is through okay at the back as well, as we see likes of Mitchell just kind of needs to hold on to the back of Wilson early on, but Wilson's trying to make an early break for it already. Has to be careful as well. Herlock directly behind, having a look, but thinking better of it already.
Right, Wilson got the advantage of those soft tyres, trying to make a breakaway, but this is a long lap, and it's while it's the same distance as we do in every other round, the soft tyres will go off with some of these long testing corners. Side by side through Hamilton, there for 10th and 11th place.
That was Ben Willis and I think Fraser Hart fighting. Nope, Johan John on the inside now. Should have this as we go onto the Bentley Straight. Obviously, this first lap, none of them have boost, so it's all about that slipstream as we go down Bentley Straight.
Absolutely nose to tail on the exit there. We've got the two Honda Civics trying to almost draft each other down this long Bentley Straight into the left-hander of Brundle, which is then immediately followed by a 90 right of Nelson. Huge curbs on the inside of these corners. You don't want to touch those. That will unsettle the car, compromise your exit. But everyone threw cleanly into bomb hole this time round. Look at the jolt that Jack London's car got there, hitting that curb.
He did indeed. You see Jack Nicholls had to take a voting action in the back there. It's dropped a few places, so he'll be trying his kind of mini version of last to first as they go down again. This long straight to complete lap 1 of 12. So everyone gets boost now. Herlock's only got 2 laps, O'Leary's only got 1, but obviously a lot of people there with 8 laps to use it. So nearly every lap at this point already.
So as they run through Ritchie's, race just starting to settle down there. Everyone getting into their rhythm. Everyone kind of just making their way. It's like I say, same distance as every other round, but there's just something about Snetterton. It feels like a little bit of an endurance effort sometimes. But Wilson continues his way through Oggies, through Palmer, to complete the first sector here on the boost a little bit there. Interestingly, perhaps just feeling the pressure a little bit from Mitchell Marm in his mirrors.
I think it was good use of those soft tyres at the start there, and then just just pull away, and then hopefully leave Herlock to pressurise Mitchell Marm. Hopefully Mitchell Marm is aware that Herlock won't have as much boost as him. So as Herlock's kind of right all over the back, but also worth thinking championship-wise, making a few more points than your championship rival, is it best just to stick around for a bit and just use that slipstream to save that boost? But won't be able to too much of Luke Mitchell thinking of joining in that battle with lots of boost to use to catch up.
Exactly, that Astra certainly keeping that Ford Focus very honest as they run down the Bentley Straight for the second time. Like I say, you get the exit of some of these corners wrong, you'll be an absolute sitting duck as they run down into the next corner. Now just having a look at what O'Leary is up to, currently running in 7th place, looking to get onto the rear bumper of Salberg in his Ford Focus.
Yeah, Herlock's right on the back. I think surely if you're Herlock, you want to get ahead as soon as possible to try and start putting Wilson under pressure as we go into that final corner. Just need to get a good exit here. Wilson using the last of their boost along this long piece of straight, as does Cedo Wire. And they're going to be looking at, where are they looking at an overtake? They are side by side with Luke Mitchell, just behind the battle for third, as Cedo goes up to 4th.
Yep. Got past him there using his boost, that straight line speed advantage before they even get to Ritchie's. Ooh, a little bit of sideways action there. I think that was O'Leary trying to get past Salberg, and still side by side on the brakes, running a little bit deep, but nice and clean, no contact. Now the right-hander becomes a left-hander, so the advantage switches back to Salberg into the very long Palmer corner. Ooh, a little bit of a touch, but thankfully no one spinning around the wrong way. Another left-hander coming up after a little bit of a drag here down into Agostini, big braking zone, and it looks like O'Leary is braver on the brakes, but has he cleared the focus? No, they're still side by side. Meanwhile, we have Richardson watching this, getting a grandstand view, just waiting for the opportunity to perhaps get a double pass done.
And while that's all happened, Herlock is up to 2nd and past Mitchell, who now has a bit of a queue behind.
Say O'Leary and Salberg still scrapping at it, a little bit of contact there, a little bit of a sideways moment for the Focus, thankfully not spun round, and you can see these drivers hustling for everything they're worth, slightly missing the apexes of the corners as they focus on trying to battle their rivals. Richardson right well and truly in the slipstream here of the BMW, no overtaking opportunity
Oh,
this time
Cedo's gone
round. But
wide.
look how...
Cedo's gone wide. Quickly coming back on. Very good recovery there. He's going to lose a few places. Was side by side with Mitchell Marm and just ran out of road, I think, there.
So, and this is going to really check up and affect the momentum of all of this little queue of drivers here. We've now got about 5 for, I think that's what, 5th place. And they're now side by side through Coram. It's possible. Can it be done this time round? Looks like, there we go. A little undercut up around, and Richardson continues to have the grandstand seat as we have Wire, we have Salberg all scrapping over 5th and 6th place now.
Yeah, there's a train now goes from 5th to 13th, and obviously O'Leary in 7th. Needs to be a bit careful. Doesn't want to lose, get a DNF as it looks down the inside of Salberg into this turn 1. Cara's there, a little bit of a nudge, not leaning too much. Salberg going very wide. I don't think that was that hard a hit to push Salberg off, but that's O'Leary up to 6th, and Salberg's going to lose a couple here if he's not careful.
Yeah, such a tight hairpin model after the hairpin on the Montreal Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and it can be very easy. You put your foot down a bit too early, particularly in a front-wheel drive car, spin those wheels up, you will just boat yourself off the track. So yes, looks like Salberg losing out a little bit there. O'Leary makes a place, and he is not running away with this, and here comes Ben Willis up the inside there of one of the Brabham cars, I think that was.
Yeah, that's because John that's going to lose a lot of places, gone wide and spun the car down to 20th place. Just went wide on the left-hander there and just kind of onto the grass and just bounced the car around. So that's Willis up to 11th.
Yeah, from memory, another pretty nasty curb if you hit it wrongly. So pity there for Johan. Anyway, moving on. O'Leary now in 6th place, but has Richardson for close company, not having it his own way. Now he's cleared the Ford Focus of Salberg. They run through the bomb hole corner, and oh my goodness me, we got some racing into Nelson there, and I think that was Benton going around the outside. Not a common move there.
Yeah, I think Smith was doing his best two-wheel impression there. Managed to hold it all together and hold on to 18th. These guys are not far off those points positions. As we've got an overtake, I think I just saw Martha up to 12th ahead as these guys complete their lap 4 and go on to lap 5.
Indeed, points being paid down to 15th place, so everything to play for as the timing tower lights up with boost usage. As mentioned previously, everyone gets a little bit of extra push to either pass or defend, and that scales depending on where you are finishing in previous races. So we've got that based on championship order entering the first race this evening. So as Fraser Hart here exiting the Wilson hairpin, he is trying to have a look at the back of Louis Neal. Looks like Louis Neal's made his way forward there, going through Palmer.
Yeah, it looks like I'm just kind of seeing where the races are, and yeah, you've got this little train of 5th to about 12th now. Herlock's in 2nd. He's 4 seconds behind Callum Wilson. He's 2 seconds ahead of 3rd place, so kind of in a bit of a nothing race, but probably what they need right now, considering the points difference.
So it's not the worst place in the world to just bring home a 2nd place, but I'd say just keep an eye out on those soft tyres. There's still a long way to go, and Herlock being on the medium, you never know. That fall off for the soft may bring Wilson back into Herlock's grasp towards the end of this one.
That is very true, and obviously you've got likes of Cedo and I think it was Martha there in 12th, also on those softs. We're just watching the rundown. To see, is it worth having a look? I mean, I used to hate overtaking here because you get pushed onto that massive curb. You just ended up 2 wheels and flying onto the grass. But it looks like everyone's made it through. As we look at Alan Smith, I'm guessing that's Carl Benton on being given space on the outside. Not really, but should be able to get back on safely.
It's hard to describe to the viewers like how much of a dance you're having with the car on the brakes, getting it to turn, getting it to slow. And particularly corners like Brundle there, like Coram at the end of the lap, you really do have to put a lot of faith into the car, balance it on a knife edge, and if you just get it slightly wrong, you wiggle your way right, just as Mitchell Marm has had a little wiggle there, running through Ritchie's, and that's given Mitchell just the opportunity he needed to send his Ford Focus through, but here comes Mitchell Marm, nice undercut on the exit. Can he pull alongside? No, he can't. So Mitchell making the most of a little wobble there, and he takes 3rd place.
And while that's happened, Thomas O'Leary has got past Cedo Wire up to 5th. That's happening literally just behind, down at the inside of the hairpin. And that's another few more points recovered for that fight with Herlock.
The boost starting to be used, I think, a bit more liberally up and down the field as we are on our 6th of 12 laps. Here's a replay.
Yep, so turn 1, I think there's going to be a little bit of boost at play here. Manages to grab that inside, and then it's kind of a bit of a conclusion there. Nice little, just about gets the overlap. Room is given, and yeah, I don't think Cedo was fighting that one too hard there as O'Leary up to 5th.
Yeah, sometimes it's one of those cases, if you may have concerns, say, over your tyre life, maybe just let the position go. You've still got another 2 races to go. Of course, you want to fight hard, race hard, but there's a bigger picture going on. So now having a look here, Fraser Hart up in 11th place, chasing down Jack London in his Ford Focus for 10th. Looks like nothing doing this time around through the Brundle and Nelson complex, but we've got Allington starting to queue up here. I think Hart may be thinking, wouldn't mind getting past this and getting on with my race, thank you very much. Meanwhile, here is Callan Wilson. We've mentioned him a few times, we've not seen him much, but he is just cruising his way forward at the moment. Fastest lap of the race, calmly, cleanly, running through Ritchie's here for the 7th time. His gap now 6.4 seconds. He is absolutely flying.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Herlock there. It's lost nearly like a second. Luke Mitchell's massively gained, caught up, and so has Scott Mitchell-Mumps. I think Herlock's made a mistake somewhere and lost something somewhere. That's means that second place that was 2-second gap is now only about 3 or 4 tenths. So that's still to play for. So looking at Fraser Hart in 11th, fighting Jack London in 10th.
Indeed, a little bit of front-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive traction difference there. Always, I must admit, preferred having a rear-wheel drive car around Snetterton. You can use that drivetrain to help balance the car, and it looks like Fraser's got an opportunity here. Will he be brave on the brakes? He's certainly having a look. Room and space given by the Focus, and they come out even as they run towards Hamilton. Tricky little left-hander here. Fraser is the braver of the two, and he's got that one done. Can he lock it down into Oggies? Yes, he can.
Yep. I don't think there's going to be an undercut here as that front-wheel drive. That's the problem with the front-wheel drive. I'm a front-wheel drive driver. But yes, I remember these long corners. You're just waiting to put that power down, especially on a course like this is such a long a straight. You kind of need to. Herlock's down to 3rd. Look, Mitchell is up to 2nd. He's missed that. Is that just a boost one, or was that a mistake from Herlock?
So it just happened, so says cameraman extraordinaire Tom. Thank you very much. Yes, looks like a little bit of drama for the Astra RSR here. Well, I'll have to see if there's a mistake or perhaps just a loss of pace. You never know. But this course, it's tough on cars, it's tough on tyres. I wonder if perhaps there's a little bit of tyre management or tyre performance loss.
I think it was a good old boost to pass. I think it's what's coming into play here is Herlock's only got 2 laps of boost and is saving it, while the drivers around him Mitchell-Mum and Mitchell can both use it now every lap. O'Leary, I think, will be the next one to kind of keep an eye on, with only able to use it once. We've got a yellow in sector 3. What's going on there?
So just while we look that up, of course, long straights here. That boost particularly effective.
Yeah, I think we've had a driver sadly flip it. Not gone too well there. He is continuing, but that's Ben Willis, sadly down back of the grid.
So not quite sure how that happened, but he somehow recovered it. Thank you to the virtual world for just flipping the car like that, and he carries on. So a bit of a strange one there.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch that one, so let's look at later. As we're back to Mitchell-Mum versus Herlock. I think Herlock's now starting to struggle, not with the tyres, just with that lack of boost. I really expect Mitchell, but we keep an eye on this one. I really expect Mitchell-Mum just to boost its way down the straight and get this last podium place back. Let's see.
Yeah, as we run through. As we run through Williams here, let's just see how Mitchell-Mum plays this one. Nice run through the corner for the Focus, and is he on the boost? Yes, he is. So now we'll get a very visual demonstration of how powerful that extra little bit of power that you have access to on your dashboard and comfortably clears that Astra. As you say, Phil, that boost advantage, the number of laps you can use it, really coming into its own now. As we've got Salberg under pressure from Louis Neal round the outside of Brundle. Good effort.
Very good. Yeah, it felt like really watching DRS, wasn't it, being activated? The boost difference just absolutely flew past. And yeah, it's now, I think obviously Herlock's now, the good news is that the driver behind doesn't have as much boost as you. The bad news is it's the person you're fighting for points. There's only a couple of points being gained on this one, but better than a couple of points being lost. So down to 4th, back where they started, and we'll see what Cedo can do with O'Leary.
Indeed. Salberg, well, truly dancing with his forward focus on the braking zone into Murray's. A little bit of a dance, which perhaps he didn't want to quite have at that point. It's put him under threat from Louis Neal in the BMW round the outside of Ritchie's. This will be fantastic stuff if you can get that one done. Space left. Wonderful stuff from these two. As they now on the brakes into the Wilson hairpin. Still side by side, little bit of a tail wag on power on exit there from the BMW driver, and now from attack it becomes defense. Hart now buying into this battle.
Yeah, I think that's Louis Neal in ninth place actually fighting as they go down towards the hairpin, and we'll just see, is Louis Neal thinking of anything? No, just quite happily sit there for a bit and see what's going on. Gap from O'Leary to Herlock is only half a second. The gap from Cedo to O'Leary only 7/10. So Cedo is definitely involved in this fight.
So buying his way in. There's a little bit of a traffic jam, a little bit cork in the bottle. This RSR Astra just really having a hard time with a lack of boost. O'Leary, really nice run out of the Williams right-hander. A little bit of defence going on here, fairly, from Herlock, covering the middle of the road. And it looks like there's no real clean way through. Oh, is there going to be a late move on the brakes? No. O'Leary thinks better of it. So fair, robust defence there from Herlock on the way into Brundle.
Yeah, it's our two championship contenders. So keeping it nice and fair. And Cedo's just going to, best seats in the house, this, isn't it? Watching those two fight, knowing you've got more boost, knowing there's still 3 laps to go after this. It's gonna be on the softs as well. Just needs to let them wait out a bit and should probably be able to take both these places. Famous commentator's curse there for you, Cedo. Please don't ruin it for me. As he's on the boost, let's watch this one down to turn 1. We're going to get 1 or we're going to get 2. Definitely going to have 1 to the line. And is O'Leary going to tuck back in? Yes, he is. Don't blame you for that one, mate. And also, what Cedo got? Yeah, Cedo's got 3 laps of boost, so should easily pass Herlock here.
Yeah, remarkable, the extra power that Honda Civic Type R just had there on the boost, just drove by this BMW like it was stood still. But that is the power and the tactical element of the boost system, and Cedo using his advantage to good effect there, overtaking O'Leary.
Yeah, it's probably worth pointing out, obviously Herlock's got 2 laps of boost, we know, and we know that O'Leary's got 1. So it's whether that extra 1 of boost that Wire has got can be make use of. I think so. It's then whether it'll be then the tactically of when to use it to defend. As this train is definitely worth watching. Callum's 7.5 seconds up the road. He's kind of just gone. So I think doesn't do anything stupid here, and this one's his. Looks like Luke Mitchell and Scott Marm are now kind of settled their differences, and this is the race to watch now.
So as the trio run out of the Williams right-hander for one more time, we've got, looks like we've got some boost going on, and I think Herlock goes, well, that's fine, you pass by, don't cost me any time, thank you very much. Wire makes his way forward to 4th place, and again, boost coming into its own. Of course, every place that you make in this race, you're going to lose some boost in the next one, so we'll have to see how Wire does when the roles are reversed boost-wise. Here comes O'Leary, a little look there in the run into Coram, just to perhaps catch Herlock out as he now resettles and focuses his attention forward. O'Leary trying to make a little opportunity there.
Yep, so this is where the fun is now that obviously O'Leary has got 1 less lap of boost than Herlock, so Herlock should be able to cover O'Leary, but again it gets very tactical as Callum just continues to increase his gap, now up to 8 seconds, and what other battles are happening up and down the field? I think this is our main one, obviously 5th and 6th. Sorry, that is Herlock and O'Leary, silly me. As they all side by side into Wilson, who's going to come out the braver. Given space, but O'Leary's now got this inside still, and just enough of a car overlap. Although only just to chuck it down. Is there going to be contact?
No fair space, given a little bit of curb being used there by the RSR driver, but O'Leary through, and O'Leary using his boost on the exit there, so he definitely wants to cement that position. That's his lap of boost engaged, though. He's going to have to use all of that up, and Herlock will have a decision to make now. Does he use his 2 laps of boost to try and catch and pass? We'll have to see.
Yeah, he's obviously got a lot of it to use, unless they're saving it literally for all of Bentley straight and then all of out of the last corner. It'll be the best time to use it. Let's just see what they do. They come around onto that Bentley straight. I wonder how many times I'm going to say that this evening. So yeah, they're both on the boost, so This we know is O'Leary's last lap. He can use it on the penultimate lap. We know Hurlock's going to get one more shot, so is Hurlock going to try and make use of it on that last lap? It's even going to mean he's quite far away, so it's going to be a lot of boost and a decent last lap to be able to get back up to 5th. Who else is happening? So that's Fraser Hart in 9th, fighting Emil Salberg, as well as we are about to start our final lap.
We've got Richardson, Salberg and Hart competing over 7th, 8th and 9th place, building a little bit of a gap from Louis Neal. There's some good scrapping going on earlier between this quartet of drivers. Running through Corham into Murray's, a little bit wide there from the King's car. Hart, nice run through the Murray's apex, carrying a maximum momentum onto the centre straight. Having a look on the racing line, a little bit of defence here from the King's Focus. No overtake this time round into Ritchie's.
Well, this time round being the last time round for these guys, so is it going to be a case of chuck it down the inside of the hairpin, or is Emil going to cover that off? Quite a long way back, so probably not the best thing to do. As they come out of this hairpin, and what else is going on? I think the gap from O'Leary to Cedo, the gap from Hurlock to O'Leary is quite big now, 2.7. That extra lap of boost isn't going to help Hurlock, I don't think. I don't think it's going to make a bunch of difference as Wilson goes onto the Bentley straight for the last time. Done everything right, really, isn't he? Haven't we watched him?
He has. Let's not curse him just yet. I've done a race around Snetterton once before where the leader had a fantastic advantage and lost it on the last lap, and I happened to pick up the win in a rather lucky circumstance. But you're right, Callum has done absolutely everything right and humbled everyone, really. The pace has been incredible. He's managed the tyres, he's managed his boost, and beautifully through into the last sector for the last time in race 1 down towards Bombhole. Sometimes they're really dull races. You just get on with it, you hit your marks, you gap everyone, and it's a bit lonely. But honestly, if you get into a rhythm around this place, it's quite special. And I think that is what Wilson has achieved here in this first race. Round Murray's for the final time, beautifully onto the power. And it's been a masterclass from the Richards & Co racing driver, helping to build their team's advantage in the TCUK Championship. Race 1 won by Callum Wilson in dominant style. We'll have to wait for the rest of the field to finish, such is the margin.
Yeah, I'm just watching also the final corner of Jordan Richardson, Emil Salberg having a bit of a fight, and that's going to give Fraser Hart one place, if not 2. He's going to be very close to Richardson at the line. Has he got it? He has. 2 places made for Fraser Hart at the end.
Oh yes, it is a drag race. Hart, I think, got that one by, well, we'll see. I'd say less than a tenth of a second potentially. Good start, or good run, sorry, to the end. Never giving up. Always an opportunity to be one.
Got the gap. It was 500ths of a second between 7th and 8th there. So yeah, very close battle to the end.
As we just wait for our final driver running in the race, Ben Willis, to complete his final 12th lap of race 1 as he now runs up the centre straight. That will conclude our first race this evening. Dominant win by Callum Wilson, quite rightly taking in a lap of honour here, taking in all the plaudits.
Yeah, brilliant job. Just did what needed to do, and got that job done. And set him up nicely. Obviously, well, I say set up nicely for race 2. Obviously, we're aware now the difference in the boost. So going from 8 laps of boost to 1 is going to be a bit of a shock.
Yes, we'll have to see how he manages. But let's run through the results of race 1 this evening. Callum Wilson winning in incredible fashion for Richardson Co Racing. Luke Mitchell and Scott Mitchell-Mauam in their Ford Focuses rounding out our podium. Cedo Wire in his Honda Civic finished in 4th, with Thomas O'Leary, championship leader, in 5th. Dan Hurlock and Fraser Hart finished in 6th and 7th, with Jordan Richardson, Louis Neal and Emil Salberg rounding out our top 10.
Jack London there in 11th place for Clemency, Martha Allington in 12th for Variety F1. Zach Evans in 13th, with local boy Jack Nichols in 14th. Carl Benson getting the last points there in 15th. Alan Smith in 16th. Johan Kajon in 17th, Oliver Rogers 18th, Jordan Osborne in 19th, and we saw Ben Willis there at the end, coming home in 20th.
So 1 race down, still 2 races to go. Plenty of chance to make some headway. As you mentioned, Phil, roles will reverse, boost will change, and we'll have to see how Callum does with just the 1 lap of boost. Will he be able to stretch his legs again, or will he have to fight a bit harder with those with a bit more boost? We'll have to wait and see. Lovely to see folks in the YouTube chat. And in fact, we're just seeing from Martha, she was saying that the long corners have obliterated the soft tyres on her Toyota Corolla. So we'll have to see how others do with their tyre management. At least, Martha, you've got that soft tyre out the way. You've got the harder medium compound to run for the next 2 races. We'll have to see how you do with that. Hopefully, slightly better wearing tyre, but perhaps not quite as much top peak lap time. Always an interesting kind of tactical element across the season when you take that option tyre.
Yeah, I used to like trying to use it for race 3 and trying to get a lucky reverse pole. The worst race I used to remember was race 2, because you kind of find your rhythm, then lose it for race 2, and then try and find it again in race 3. So yeah, don't mind using it in race 1. Obviously, you can use it in race 2 to kind of push yourself up for race 3. But Alan Smith also commenting, he finished with 44% tyre wear across the line, so on the softs. So yeah, these front-wheel drives are really struggling with that, just falling off. And again, even though I said I don't like those fast-flowing corners, there are a few of them on here. Turn 1, Turn 3, and onto the Bentley Straight, and onto Bomb Hole, and obviously the last corner. So it's not, even though there's long straights, there isn't much time for the tyres to kind of get a breather.
So can you try and describe that sensation, Phil, of the tyre going off for folks? It's awful.
You do a few laps and you think, oh yeah, it's all going fine, everything's, and then you'll come around and do, obviously, especially with a front wheel drive, won't feeling yourself wide, and the problem is once you overheat the.
Yeah, it sounds like. Unfortunately, Phil, we lost you, and perhaps that's a fair reflection of how the tyres feel. Just cutting in, cutting out, and they're just not under you anymore. So it's a tricky one to manage. It's interesting that even in 11, 12 laps, pretty standard distance, the tyres are almost going through half of the rubber available to the driver. So that's hard work to manage, particularly on the front wheel drives, where not only is the axle responsible for steering the car as it normally would, but all of the power application and a good amount of the braking as well. So across the 3 races this evening, we've got a pretty fair balanced mix of drivers using those tyres. We've got another 6 drivers using the option soft tyre in this, our second race, with 9 going for the final race. So we'll have to see, potentially even with some weather mixing up its way into proceedings, how all of our drivers deal with that tyre management challenge. And of course, if you're only just catching up with us and seeing our VMO TCUK broadcast, well, lovely to have you with us, of course. But of our 10 race championship, Thruxton, everyone is on the same tyres for all 3 races there. So it means that for the remaining 9, you get to choose where you have your option tyre across the remaining 9 rounds. So there's a nice strategic element to play out over the whole 10-round championship. So just looking at some of the tyre numbers and usage, a few drivers, they don't get a choice in some rounds. So just looking at, for example, at Cedar Wire, he's used his whole allocation for race 2. He can only pick race 1 and race 3 from this point on. So as the championship closes out, you'll be able to tell and perhaps second guess some of those strategic calls that some others may be making.
Yeah, I mean, I said getting out race 2 out of the way isn't a bad thing. So apologies for that. Some slight technical issues on my side, which I've hopefully tidied up. Yeah, I'd be happily getting rid of race 2. And I suppose, yeah, you're thinking ahead, because obviously some races you take the option tyre, and some you take the soft tyre as the option, some you take the hard. I think it's Knockhill next time out, we actually take the hard as the option tyre, not the soft.
Yeah, just to flip the strategy a little bit, you get the faster tyre by default, if you will. So yes, it's a nice challenge for the drivers to manage, just like the boost, and it just gives that little bit of something to the racing. You can perhaps craft an opportunity late in the season if you play your cards right.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I think I have to go look back, because obviously I talked about my race 3 win at Brands Hatch GP. whatever year it was. I can't remember if I took softs for that race 3. I'll have to go and delve into the archives and see if I can find out what time I was on. I'd be surprised if I was on the softs, because my memories of front-wheel drives and softs is just burning through them. Not being very clever when it comes to time management and also setup. So we'll have to investigate that one.
Indeed. But no, I think for first race, plenty of excellent action, some great racing room being left, some places being made, and it's good to see Snetterton giving up so much great racing, particularly into that Wilson hairpin. It's a tricky corner, Wilson. There's not very much in terms of reference points for our drivers to recognise, this is where I need to brake. And if you've got a driver right behind you, it's even more perilous keeping an eye not only ahead of you, but behind you as well. So great to see some excellent racing between our drivers. More of that, please, in race 2, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and also, obviously, you don't know what boosts those drivers behind you have. So you're trying to work out, have they used all their boosts yet? Are they saving it? What position were they in the last race? Where did they start? As it says, it's the top 8 have 1 lap, 2 lap, 3 laps of boosts, all the way down to 8th place as the full 8 laps, and they've gone backwards as 8 laps. So trying to remember where people started, how much boost they've got, and if you think they may have used it on 1 lap or 2. And that especially something I've never seen the difference in boost so much. But it's to be given. It's probably the longest straights. Dare I say the longest straights on the touring car calendar? I'm trying to think of other circuits that have straights that long. Silverstone's being nominated, but that's the national circuit. But yeah, I suppose that could be a close one for usage.
I think the interesting thing with Snetterton in particular is the long straights are preceded by corners where it's very easy to make a mistake, perhaps run a little wide, and it's that double whammy effect of you lose momentum on the exit and you're even more vulnerable. That penalty is multiplied by the fact of, well, someone gets in your slipstream, and it can go wrong very, very quickly. So it's like I say, it's a track which punishes mistakes, it rewards patience, and certainly going back a while now, back to when I'd work on the car setup for my touring car, I would always come here because it was a great track to learn a car, to shake it down, as you mentioned, Phil, a little bit of everything, but you'll very quickly get the understanding, the character of your machinery around this place. So it's a unique challenge and a great one to visit, and it's given us some great racing so far.
Yep, and we've also got an extra driver here for race 2 as Mitch Marie is back, so we're going to bump up the number of drivers up to 21 for race 2 as they are slowly making their way onto the grid. We will then give you the rundown of positions shortly. I'll just quick weather update. It's probably not going to rain. It won't rain. After all of that, it's not going to rain in race 2. The chances of it racing in race 3, we may hit it in race 3, but I don't think so. It's going to chuck it down at 10 o'clock once this is all finished. So it's how close we get to 10 o'clock as to how much rain we're going to get.
We'll have to wait and see. Weather, it always will be occurring. Anyway, let's run through our starting grid, shall we, for this race 2 this evening. Callum Wilson will be starting in pole position, closely followed by Luke Mitchell in second. Scott Mitchell-Marm will start third with Cedo Wyatt in fourth. Thomas O'Leary and Daniel Hurlock, our championship contenders, will fill out the third row, starting fifth and sixth. Fraser Hart and Jordan Richardson will be on the fourth row, with Louis Neal and Emil Salberg rounding out the fifth row, positions 9 and 10.
We've then got Jack London in 11th for Calamity, with Martha starting in 12th. Zach Evans, Vapor Shield Racing in 13th, with Jack Nichols in 14th. So hopefully, after losing a load of places early on, hopefully going to recover as the Snetterton expert. Carl Benson in 15th, with Alan Smith, obviously took that 5-place grid drop in race 1, made a few places up, is starting 16th. Johan Cajon is 17th, and Oliver Rogers 18th. John Osborne in 19th. Ben Willis obviously finished at the back of race 1 is starting 20th, but Mitch Marie has been able to join us and will be starting 21st for race 2. And we have loads of time to talk because they're still doing the formation lap because it's so long.
So 21 is lucky for some. You never know. I don't know if we've had a last to first winner here in VMO TCUK, but
we've been close before.
Oh, we have, okay. you never know what may happen. Hopefully we have some more excellent racing. Great to see Alan from Craven Racing in the chat. We did indeed see some excellent racing, some great passes from you, and some great racing from you as well. And good to see Callum in the chat as well. Wish you were here racing with us, but I think you're on holiday. Have a lovely holiday. So yeah, enjoy the action here as everyone makes their way around into Coram to round out their formation lap. A long lap, as you say, Phil. Tricky to prepare the car. And it's, cameraman extraordinaire Tom commenting, it's just gotten a bit darker, and it does. It looks a bit overcast, doesn't it, Phil?
It has got a bit cloudy. It definitely wasn't as sunny as what it was in race 1. There could be showers about. I mean, yeah, it could happen. I'm part of me is purposely saying it won't happen. I hope it does happen. It is currently trying anti-commentator's curse, but it's currently not raining.
So I'm not sure if reverse psychology works on weather, but we're about to find out.
As they all get themselves at the back into position, we'll wait for those lights.
Indeed. So it looks like everyone's forming up, which is good to see. We just wait for the lights and the flags. Here we go. The revs rise and away we go. Oh, not a good start there from Wilson. He's bogged down, and look at that. Scott Mitchell-Marm immediately takes advantage and takes the lead. 3 wide down into Ritchie's this time around. Drama for a race 1 winner.
And yeah, Herlock, a little bit of a bump there onto the back of, I think it was Cedo, as they go 2 wide and nearly 3 wide into this hairpin. Hopefully we can all make it out as Luke Mitchell's looking down the inside of turn 1, which would be the inside turn 2 for outside turn 3. But O'Leary is coming back with that inside now. Bit of contact there, but definitely O'Leary was there, and Herlock will follow through.
So yeah, the cold tyres, I think everyone's just a bit used to the temperature and grip that they may have had in the end of that first race. Everyone just finding out, feeling their way around. Snetterton here, race 2. Mitchell-Marm holds on to the lead. Here comes O'Leary having a look at the back of Herlock. Into Hamilton. That's going to be a tricky one to pull off on the first lap. Mitchell-Marm leads them through to the Bentley straight. We'll have to see if anyone gets a good run and perhaps an early pass into Brundle.
Yep, still all clean so far. That's someone going very wide. I think that was Luke Mitchell there on the outside. Obviously, worth pointing out, both Herlock and O'Leary starting on the softs. And Mitchell-Marm on the mediums are only 3 laps of boost. So as Herlock going for the early lead and has already taken it.
So impressive stuff without the boost. That Astra is not hanging around. He wants to claw back some points in the championship battle. Through they run through Bomb Hole. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3 as Mitch Marie apparently has gone off the course. Hopefully he can recover as they run through into Murray's to complete the first lap.
Yeah, we had Johan Kajon as well, also spinning round near Bomb Hole. So unlucky for them. That's why they're down in last. And then O'Leary right on the back obviously wants to get ahead of Mitchell-Marm as early as possible. Is looking at that inside, thinks better of it. Obviously only 5 laps of boost, so not a bad amount to have use of compared to the 3 of Mitchell-Marm. But Herlock's obviously, as they say, make hay while the sun shines. It's going to try and run away as quickly as possible, as there's a little bit of rubbing is racing there, but they're careful not to hook up and spin each other round. But they've managed to get through alive as Scary Tree watches on, and 4th place Wire is taking it all in as for this last points paying position. They all want a piece of it.
Absolutely. I saw Sido there well and truly 4-wheel sliding it through the Wilson hairpin, really pushing hard, which is good to see. Yes, Carl Benton under attack, under pressure. I think that's from Ben Willis in the recovering Drake car around the outside of Agostini. Is going to be a good effort, but he's still there, hanging on tough. Oh no! Oh, that's not ideal. Benton spins round with some contact there on the exit.
Yeah, I think that was Benton not giving enough space on the outside. Definitely Ben was there on the outside, and then it just cuts across the front, and off they go. Managed to recover, still going.
So O'Leary well and truly hassling the back of the King's Ford Focus, using some boost. He is seeing Herlock disappear up the road and wants to follow suit. Through he goes on the brakes. 1 lap of boost use. Herlock, no laps used so far, and the fastest lap of the race. But He's now got some clean air, some open road ahead of him. Let's see what the BMW driver can do. Let's have a look at what Fraser Hart is up to. Louis Neal's got ahead of him so far in this one, and looks like Fraser wants to try and take that place back.
Yeah, Fraser's dropped 3 places from the start position, 7th down to 10th. So yeah, definitely looking to recover, as I think Louis is a little bit wide, and it looks like Fraser Hart wants to get a bit involved as well. There's a little bit of slipstream going on, as I think Jack London up to 10th, and Fraser Hart, there's another one looking there as well. They're going to go too wide. That looks brave. Nope, they follow each other, and we'll see what they do down here at turn 2 instead. As Wilson's already used his 1 lapper boost in 5th place there.
So that's going to be hard work to to hang on to that 5th place, I think, just given how effective that boost has been. And I think another really interesting example of how attack can become defence. Unfortunately for Fraser there, just ran ever so slightly wide and lost a load of momentum. Now Louis losing momentum on the exit of Palmer. Hard onto the brakes, looks like Jack London in that Calamity Ford Focus takes advantage and takes 9th place.
Yeah, fighting all over the place, and they can't quite decide on who's going where. As just having a look at the gaps at the front to get a replay here. So this is Ben Willis has a look at the outside, and as we get to the apex of the hairpin, definitely an overlap. Goes very wide, but is definitely still there. Takes the edge of the circuit, lines it up, and yeah, I think Carl's going to look at that and think, oh, I did chop across his nose quite strongly there.
Yeah, it's going to be always tricky. Heat of the moment, 2 cars going for the same bit of road. Never nice to see a car obviously ejected from the fight, from the scrap like that. But there we go, onboard footage there from the Drake car. Unfortunately, a little bit of contact between those two.
Yeah, I was just seeing what else is going on, as we've got Zach Evans, sadly. That's got a bit of a curse there from Matt Richards, who's watching, saying, cracking debut from Zach. News BTCC and points straight away on the grid is a great effort, and sadly has had an issue which sent him tumbling down. So we can blame that commentator's curse, although apparently he may have been turned, so maybe a bit too harsh there. As we are looking at Jordan Richardson on the inside of... Who's that on the inside of? I think it was Callum Wilson, so up to 5th.
And I think 1 place will become 2, just that momentum loss through the fast corner. I think here comes Luke Mitchell recovering in his Ford Focus. And Wilson, our dominant race 1 winner, having to scrap and fight hard for everything he can get at the moment. So again, what a difference a race can make, the boost can make.
I think it's the strongest difference we've seen ever. As we get a replay here of what happened to Zach Evans. So on the inside, got racing line, a little bit of a touch there, and then it's all fine. Oh, just gets spun around there by Jack. That's a shame. Not quite sure to get a better view of the driver's side of what happened there, but still in the race, and obviously still got race 3, so still a chance at more points later on this evening.
Absolutely, but still, I think Matt's comment absolutely fair. Welcome to the league, Zach. Good result in the first race for you there, and you still got another race to go, so never give up.
So this is Jack's view of the instance. So watching the fight go on. So there's a fight there, and tries to follow. I think just understeers. Yeah, I think that one's on Jack. Personally, looking at that again, the other car's all the way on the outside, I think Jack's dived down the inside and just understeered his way into the side of that Honda. As we're looking at Ben Willis, it's really hard, and it's really harsh, I think, on Zach. But he's doing all right, so still time.
Yeah, no, indeed. I think just kind of wrong place, wrong time, arrives there. Car's not exactly where you expect it to be. Just one of those things in racing.
Yeah, indeed. As we're looking at now at Jordan Richardson, made up 3 places so far. He's looking at making place number 4th to get into 4th against Cedo Wire. Only a few attempts between them. Honda versus Honda action. There's a Focus ahead and the BMW behind them both. As the gap at the front's also come down quite a bit, now down to 3 tenths. Obviously, Herlock's got 6 laps compared to O'Leary's 4, but that first place, this isn't Callum Wilson style running off of it. That one's staying. Keep an eye on that one, because it's not. There you go. There's your gap.
Yeah, it's not over. I think perhaps a little bit of tyre attrition. Oh, defence there from the Astra. Has O'Leary got his nose in there? No, he hasn't. Nose to tail. Our 2 championship contenders scrapping hard here in race 2. I do wonder if we're going to start seeing a little bit tyre wear, a little bit of attrition, and these front wheel drives definitely having a harder time of keeping their tyres consistent throughout the race, and perhaps this is where O'Leary and the rear-wheel drive drivers can take some advantage. Through Williams they go, corner which never seems to end. Beautifully done by both of the drivers here, both on the boost, and you can see that front-wheel drive car still using the boost on the Bentley straight to just extend that advantage. Hard on the brakes into Brundle, dance it around, and look at that rear-wheel drive using its ability to carry a bit more speed through the apex of the corner. That advantage.
I'd say keep an eye on this one, because I think O'Leary's still got some boost left to use. A lot more boost to use going into the start-finish straight. So let's keep an eye on this, because I don't think this one's over. I think O'Leary's just biding his time, get a good exit here. Obviously, Herlock's got a little bit to use, but I think O'Leary's got a lot more, as they'll both be on the boost now. So let's see, is Herlock timed it right? It looks like so. I think O'Leary missed the opportunity to use a bit more there. Or maybe not, actually, because it did show it says finishing off, so I stand corrected.
Possibly. I think we've got a percolating brew here between these two as the race goes on. I think the tyres are definitely going to play a factor, and who uses their boost effectively, we'll see. O'Leary currently with the fastest lap, so that's a bonus point as well. So everything to play for, and the more that these two scrap, of course, that current 4 second or so advantage they have to Scott Mitchell-Marmon third, that will quickly evaporate as this momentum circuit really will penetrate. So I'm just hearing that Richardson is absolutely on the move, as my goodness me, round the outside. Can O'Leary make that one stick? No, he can't. He's going to have to try and do something truly special to get the better of Herlock there.
Yeah, Herlock went very deep on the brakes, and it looks like Richardson's the one to watch, as he is definitely catching off Mitchell-Marmon. Those soft tyres on the Honda is currently working, as we're watching O'Leary try the outside line on the Bentley straight. Oh, contact! That was quite a strong hit, I think. That's going to push O'Leary wide, but he has now got the overlap and a bit of inside, but Herlock uses the boost.
I was going to say, it's going to take something special to get around this Astra, and O'Leary is definitely trying every trick in his book. A bit of contact there at the midpoint, but thankfully both cars continuing the momentum yo-yoing between these two, and that 4.5 second gap, it's down to 4.3 seconds already. So the more these two scrap, the more others may be able to get invested into this one. So I think we're on for a treat here, ladies and gentlemen, with these two showing us how it can be done.
Yeah, I'm just looking and seeing how far. My concern is seeing how far Wilson's gone down. Obviously, he's got a 2 second gap actually to Fraser Hart, but Fraser Hart, I think, can pretty much now use boost for every single lap. So that 2 second gap between the two may come down. Obviously, Wilson's using Luke Mitchell's slipstreaming, so he thinks being held up a bit by Luke Mitchell. I probably think also using a bit of the slipstream, kind of keeping him there, as the gap between Herlock and O'Leary is now 8 tenths because Herlock used that extra lap of boost.
So we'll have to see how they manage this one. Now both Herlock and O'Leary having used 2 laps of boost each, but Herlock still has that extra lap advantage, having finished behind O'Leary in the previous race. We'll have to see how that one goes. Let's see here how some of the others are doing. So we've got a good scrap here for 18th place. Racing up and down the field, doesn't matter if it's for points or if it's for the win. We'll always get a good race and a good scrap. And we've got, I think, a quartet here fighting hard for 18th, 19th and 20th. A little bit of a bump there from the Honda Civic to its fellow competing Honda Civic, and momentum lost there. A few places lost. So like I say, not even for points, but we've got some solid racing up and down the field.
The racing for pride at that point. And obviously Benton trying to recover. And obviously every place you make obviously helps you more in race 3. Now, we've also got the top 12 reverse pole, of which it's a number selected from 7 to 12, as we're watching Richardson on Scott Mitchell-Marmon. Is there a little bit of boost here, or is that just amount of speed? I think it's just the speed, and the exit gives Richardson that podium position. Great, but 5 places he's made up so far this evening in this race.
Pure pace on that Honda Civic. Richardson continuing his incredibly strong season so far. Moving across to Drake for this round. Here we go. More scrapping between our leading duo. That BMW desperately trying to find his way by, but I think we've got the widest Vauxhall Astra in the country here. Herlock absolutely hanging on with everything he's got.
It's worth pointing out at this point that they've both used 2 laps of fuel. They both used 2 laps of boost, but it's Herlock that has the extra lap So that could play very nicely. He's in front and he's got an extra boost. So that could prove pivotal as we've still got this lap and 4 more to go after.
So just keeping an eye on, just visually this time around, the gap between the scrapping duo is now 3.4 seconds to third. So a second has been lost as these two continue to scrap. Here we go on the boost. O'Leary, what a run out of Palmer. Can he get that one done? Oh my goodness me, Herlock really late on the brakes. I think that's pushing the boundaries, but they exit together side by side. This is definitely going to be
I think Herlock backed off there.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go too wide through Hamilton.
Yeah, I think that was a combination of not wanting to go through too wide through Hamilton and probably thinking, yeah, I think I pushed a little bit too hard there. It's all fine covering the inside, but that was so much late on the brakes, locked up, and then clouted O'Leary. So O'Leary's going to use. Oh, now Herlock's going to use a boost as well. So they're both using boost this lap, which means that O'Leary will have 2 laps left and Herlock will have 3.
So grab yourself a cup of tea or a refreshing beverage of your choice, ladies and gents. I think we're going to be in for a show. Lap 8 of 12. We've got a third of the race to go, and these two are putting on an absolute exhibition for us on how to do some touring car racing. The more these two scrap, Richardson, he will be a part of that battle before long as well. Lovely stuff to see here in race 2, but let's see what's going on here for around P10 and 11. We've got Louis Neal challenging the calamity focus there of Jack London for a top 10 position.
Louis in a Jack sandwich, because it's Jack Nichols then behind.
Oh boy, Jack sandwich, Ford sandwich, lots of sandwiches.
We've got Fraser Hart and I think that's Cedo, that 5th and 6th. Yep, I think that's Hart currently in 5th, soft tyres. Still can use boost. Now Wire can as well, because Wire's got 4 laps to use. Mitchell behind's only got 2. That's a purple car. Is it Purple Focus? And O'Leary has checked out for a bit.
So lovely move there from Fraser around the outside of Richie's. That's a committed move. Nice stuff. Carried the momentum nicely, and it looks like our Jack or Ford Focus sandwich, whatever your preference, has been finished off. Louis has made his way forward into 10th place.
Yeah, great move there. So that's now we have a battle of the Jacks, and O'Leary is trying to check out. I think 1.72 second gap now. I'm just seeing how far Richardson is from Herlock. Still just over 2 seconds. So bit of a gap. And they both have the same amount of laps of boost remaining, so I don't think there could be any fight there, but that's amazing for Herlock. Are definitely kind of falling back a little bit.
Yeah, I do wonder perhaps if there's a little bit of tyre degradation going on for the Astra, because that is quite a gap for O'Leary to have opened up in a short space of time. So we'll have to see. Still second place. Doesn't matter if you have second place by an inch or a mile, it's still second place. So we'll have to see how Herlock manages that one, if he can fend off Richardson, or perhaps make inroads into O'Leary. You never know what may happen. Who knows? We might get this magical downpour of rain. It certainly looks to be getting a bit brighter out there on circuit.
Okay, well, I think it's going to happen. The rain now, he says. I maybe not for this race, maybe race 3, but I wouldn't bet a Freddo on it, but it could still happen. As we see, Jordan Richardson, that gap now 1.5 seconds. So I think Herlock's now struggling for tyre, as we see his battle for 8th, 9th and 10th.
So through Richie's they go. You get a really good idea of how much the drivers hustle the cars as they flex their way through the compression. Mitchell Marm now scrapping for 5th place from Fraser Hart, briefly up into 4th place there in the BMW. Great run from Fraser here this evening. Looks like Mitchell Marm holds onto that one by virtue of holding the inside, but definitely looks like that BMW has got the pace advantage at this stage of the race. Mitchell Marm going defensive. Is there a car width there for the BMW? Not quite. Will he be able to do it on the brakes? Not this time round. Good defense here being put up by the King's driver.
Definitely feels like these rear wheel drive cars, definitely last 4 laps have definitely got something in them, and the front wheel drivers are starting to fall off, with the caveat being Richardson is holding the gap now at 1.4 to Herlock. And I think some of these BMWs come alive right near the end, which is why we're seeing Mitchell Marm under pressure.
Absolutely. A little bit of wiggle under acceleration under power there from Fraser on the boost, and as we know, the boost is mighty powerful down these straights, and looks like he's now cleared the King's car. So lovely stuff from Fraser. well managed, executed run up to 4th place. Mitchell Mom now has Cedo Wire for close company. Cedo with 2 laps.
Oh, Jordan's gone wide. Jordan's gone wide. He's losing positions. He's definitely going to lose a lot of positions. He just went. I told you, he went wide at bomb hole, and that's going to allow Fraser Hart and Mitchell Mom, I think, maybe. This is going to be a fight now into the final corner. There's an overlap that's going to cause a spin if they're not careful. They've managed to just about sort it out, and that was lucky that it was a 90 left coming up. He just lost it on the exit of bomb hole and then went over that massive bounce I told you, and went very wide. So 3rd down to 6th for Richardson. Fraser Hart suddenly has a podium place on the penultimate lap.
Goodness me, you never know what can be thrown up in the closing stages of these races. I mentioned those curbs can be absolutely brutal. Let's see what happens here to the Drake car. Does he just get it slightly offline?
And then just bounces. That little bounce sends him massively left, and luckily manages to get the car so down to not hit the barriers. And then you can see everyone coming. Did a very good job of just about joining safely, but then had a little bit of a incident with Cedo. So glad that they could both recover without losing positions.
Yeah, hard work once you're on the grass. Not quite as grippy, of course, as the tarmac, but there you go. Pity there for Jordan, but he's still running solidly and definitely in contention for our reverse grid and the obviously reverse grid draw for our 3rd and final race this evening. Still a couple laps to go in this one, though. Richardson running through Oggies, having a good look at the back of Cedo Y, who's also had a great evening so far, running in 5th place. Got a little trilogy here, trying to fight for that 4th place.
Yeah, and I think Mitchell doesn't have any boost left. Maybe this is the last time he can use it. I don't know if he could. I can't remember now. I think it's going to be who has the boost left. As that's Jordan going very wide. Is this a case of his soft tyres now going off? Because he was pushing very hard at the start of this race, as our cameraman was pointing out. He was the man on the move, and then suddenly he seems to have fallen off a cliff a little bit, as we have a yellow in sector 2 for what I'm not sure.
So it's and we've got unfortunately Oliver Rogers around. I think that was on the exit of Oggies. Shame to say for the Calamity driver, but he has recovered. I mentioned it before. Snetterton, it does have this weird endurance effect. You've got to take care of your car, take care of your equipment. And perhaps those who pushed a little earlier now feeling the effect of that. Callum Wilson, our pole sitter at the start of this one, now down to 10th place. Looks like Louis Neal has got a move done there into Richie's as we start our final lap of this race. Jordan Richardson now having a look at 5th place and getting a pass down on Cedo Wire.
Yeah, I'm trying to recover after dropping down from 3rd. I think pushing for 4th is going to be difficult, but you never know. Wilson, 1 lap of boost, medium tyres, with all those fast runners on softs, all that extra boost, sadly, just hasn't quite happened. But you never know. Like I said, that reverse pole leading from 7 to 12 is going to be very fun to see. Herlock looks like it's finished. A few of them finished on boost now. So we'll see how that one plays out. As Jordan Richardson is slowly catching up to Mitchell Marm. So needs to be a little bit careful here, Mitchell. Mitchell Marm just kind of get a good exit onto that Bentley straight. As O'Leary has going down the end of the Bentley straight has done everything he needs to do.
Indeed, it's been an interesting couple of races we've had so far. 4.6 seconds, you might go, that's a checkout, isn't it? But no, we've seen it. It can so one mistake, you can lose a lot of ground. But O'Leary, once he made his way past Herlock, has absolutely made the most of that, and it looks like Richardson now under threat from Wire, so this one isn't over. Attack becoming defence as they run down into the bomb hole. But just returning to O'Leary, once he made his pass, he made the most of it, he's made his gap, and yet another move towards a championship run-in. Fantastic result there for Thomas O'Leary, fastest lap and winning race 2 this evening. We've got a scrap here, another drag race, just as we had in race 1 between Salberg this time and Wire. Who's going to win this one? It looks like Wire will hold on to that 6th place.
Some of these gaps are going to be brilliant to see as we have the rest of them coming. Ben Willis in 12th as 17th and 16th. Carl Benton dives down the inside. That's a bit too ambitious. Hopefully, if they're clever here, they'll do the right thing and give the position back. But it means that Smith may gain a couple here with a decent run to the line. Yeah, he's given the place back and Smith gets both of them.
So yes, a definitely a late move there, but Carl, I think, realising what has just happened there wasn't quite right. So there we go. as we just wait for our final runner and rider to come round into the final sector, Oliver Rogers for Calamity. Race 2, very nearly in the books there, and another fantastic masterclass by our championship protagonists, Dan Hurlock and Thomas O'Leary. I think with our third race, our reverse grid draw, it's going to be interesting to see how those two now do with a reduction in boost.
Yeah, we're back to what we were at the start of the first race, when obviously O'Leary only had one lap and Hurlock only had two. So we could see them starting in the similar positions that they did for race 1. Depending on how that reverse grid goes, I have to keep an eye on that, as there's a nice little formation flying here. I'm pretty sure that Ford's probably run out of fuel. It's being pushed by the other Ford. But as we're just going to get a nice little cut back, and we'll show the results shortly once it all comes through. As Cripps said, amazing podium there for Brett Fraser. Yeah, Fraser Hart, basically the right place, right time. When Richardson had that problem, stepped up and said, "Yep, I'll take that one," and sure did.
Yep, you got to make your own luck, but hats off to Fraser. Fantastic result. He was there to take advantage. But let's run through our finishing order here for race 2. Thomas O'Leary wins from Daniel Hurlock. Fraser Hart, a fantastic podium position for Brabham x Ferretti. Scott Mitchell-Malm continues a good evening, finishing in 4th, with Jordan Richardson rounding out in 5th place. Tito Wire, Emil Sarnberg and Louis Neal finished in 6th, 7th and 8th respectively, with Luke Mitchell and Callum Wilson rounding out our top 10.
Jack London. We're trying to work out who's going to do next then, weren't we? Jack London 11th, with Ben Willis there recovering to 12th. Jack Nichols, there you go, another Jack Sandwich, 13th. Martha Angton, she finished in 14th, with Jordan Osborne in 15th. Alan Smith, 16th. Mitch Marie starting 21st and finishing 17th. Carl Benton in 18th. Zach Evans in 19th. And Johan Kajon in 20th. And then finally, it will jump over and we'll have Oliver Rogers in 21st place, rounding out our 21 drivers. And we've just been told it is a top 12 reverse order, which is exactly what we want to hear. What you also want to hear is, yep, that rain is going to be here at about 10 o'clock, which means Ben will start on pole position, with Jack London starting alongside him in 2nd place. And then it'll be basically reverse of this. So Callum Wilson in 3rd, Luke Mitchell in 4th, and this is where the fun begins, because it will be Louis Neal will have 8 laps of boost, and then Emil Salberg will be starting 6th, Cedar Wire 7th, Jordan Richardson 8th, Scott Mitchell-Malm with 4 laps of boost in 9th, Fraser Hart 3 laps of boost in 10th, Hurlock with just 2 laps of boost in 11th, and poor O'Leary will be starting 12 laps with only 1 lap of boost in 12th place.
So potentially a full reverse grid. We're just double checking that, just to make sure the random number generation has done
it does work
generation correctly, because that is maximum boogaloo, if you will. But yes, some fantastic racing, and I do want to highlight Fraser. What a run! Might have gotten a bit lucky, but you put yourself there, and so much of racing, be it real or virtual, is about confidence. Good for you, sir. Good to see you making your way forward there, and yeah, enjoy that result. It's always wonderful to get a podium. I think that's your first here in VMO, so congratulations. Good result for you.
Would you guys like a weather update?
Oh, go on.
It's occurring. No,
It's
right.
occurring.
So it's not raining. So the forecast has down for medium intensity rain at 9:45, so 15 minutes from now, and heavy rain at 10 o'clock. Now, we have about a few more minutes of warm-up in this one, which will take us to 9:32. So 12 minutes into the race, what's that? Lap 6, we could possibly have some rain. I'm going to call it on lap 7. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. 12 laps. It'll be lap 13, it'll probably happen on.
So in the interest of balance, let's say no rain. Therefore, one of us will be right, and assuming reverse psychology, one of us will be right. Where am I going with this idea? Anyway, logic.
Not quite sure where you're going with that, are you?
No.
So what this also means is, yeah, the drivers will have to start on the dries, even if they think it's going to rain. You're only allowed to start on the wet tyres if there is rain on the grid during the formation lap, which going by the forecast, there won't be. Just keeping an eye on the server. It is not raining at the moment. Fraser Hart's doing a few bits of practice. So it's Daniel Herlock. So about this rain, I'm going to reply to him saying, working on it.
So Phil, try and talk us through, when you're in the driver's seat, you're practicing, like, what does the rain mean for you? Like, do you go, right, well, I need a new setup? Like, how do you approach that challenge?
I think it's a case of whack the wing on. You need all the downforce you can get. I like the car a little bit softer than usual, so maybe do some bits around that. Otherwise, it's just getting the practice in, which is actually really difficult on these simulators, like the exact amount of rain for the exact amount of time. Just understand what that means for your braking points, what it means for turning. I mean, thinking of this track, obviously turn 1 is going to be a lot slower, which then means the same onto the Bentley straight is going to be slower. So that's a lot more opportunity for boost. So yeah, I don't really know how to describe it. It's just thinking ahead a little bit more, and also staying on that grey stuff and hoping others make mistakes, because that probably is what happens.
So the challenge of the wet, of course, it's slippy, but do you perhaps have the wet lines you want to employ, the karting lines, as it were, where there may be a bit more grip as well? So we may see a huge variety, if it were to rain, of different approaches and techniques to this circuit, which is already on its own a tough challenge. So we'll have to see. Maybe we'll get a wet round this year. We'll have to see. I mean, it is the UK.
Lap 7. It's going to happen on lap 7. I promise you, it's coming.
Oh dear. Well,
I'm looking at the Met Office, and yeah, it's definitely on the way. It's definitely close, and it's moving in. It doesn't look like it's going to suddenly. The first weather band I was watching basically just stopped about 2 miles from the circuit and just went, actually, we'll take a detour, and just went around it. This one, not so sure it's going to avoid the circuit, because it does look like a strong band. So yeah, there's a couple of comments just to point out. Alan Smith says, I'm going to get my name printed onto every P16 grid spot at this point. Hadn't realised how many times he's finished P16, poor guy. And then Jordan Osborne, really can't get this car set up for this track, always struggling. Yeah, I think Jordan's in the coupe, if I remember correctly. It's just a front wheel drive thing. I think they just fall off so much at the end, and the BMWs, it's the consistency. They're not so much going faster by the end of the race, it's just the front wheel drives are going so much slower. They can't get that bite on those front tyres. That nice shiny grippy bits has already entered exit stage left. So I think at the end it's just holding on for dear life.
I think it has been the story of the evening, both the boost and that dynamic between the front wheel drive and rear wheel drive. Just the way that the respective drivetrains are working their tyres. It's all, I think, part of the challenge. We refer to circuits sometimes being perhaps rear-wheel drive or front-wheel drive bias. Perhaps this is one of those rear-wheel drive bias tracks, just due to the nature of the tyre wear. But if you can make a front-wheel drive car around this circuit take care of its tyres, you've done something right in the setup. So I think if it were to rain as well, of course, the wet tyres, if they were used, they are typically a softer compound, and they'll go off even more quickly than a soft tyre would. So more potentially to manage for those front-wheel drive competitors this evening.
I think the problem we're going to have, as much as I think the rating is going to happen on race 7 or lap 7 or 8, the problem is at that point you're over halfway through the race. Changing tyres in this takes about 25 seconds. You're going to lose a lot of time also just going down that long pit lane. It's very fast, so you're going to lose 40 seconds. Are you really going to claim that back in 4 laps with light rain? It's going to be close. Yeah, I mean, cameraman's trying to do his rain dance by the sounds of it, and as best as he can, but nothing so far.
Indeed. Well, so for this, our third and final race of this evening, of our 21 competitors, we've got 9 using the option soft tyre. So not quite the majority, but it's the most drivers on the soft compound in one race that will have this round. So I think the drop off between those 2 tyre compounds, there'll be more of a pronounced effect. And well, if it were to rain, I'd say it's an advantage actually to have that softer compound, a bit grippier. You might be able to hang on just that little bit better than the normal medium prime tyre. We'll have to see. It looks like we will be very shortly moving to the race session and hearing from our cameraman extraordinaire that it's looking mighty overcast. So maybe, Phil, you're on to
It's coming. It's coming. It's definitely coming. It's whether it hits the circuit before the end of the race or not. Like I said, it's going to rain at 10 o'clock. So I think at that point, it's whether it's going to be close. And I don't think it's going to be worth changing to those wets, but it could be. I hopefully could be wrong.
So what do we know? We're up here talking about it. So yes, who's up for a fourth race? Fredo's put up by the commentators. There we go.
Yeah, let's just keep going.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
And we could then also do the track in reverse, which I haven't talked about tonight so far. So I think going reverse here, a tight right, 90 right Murray's could be entertaining, and then round into bomb hole. Oh, isn't that a shame they started the formation that one, man.
So let's run through our starting order for this, our third and final race of this evening. Ben Willis for Drake does indeed start on pole position, full reverse grid draw. He will be followed by Jack London. Callum Wilson having a strong evening this evening. Will be starting third with Luke Mitchell in fourth. Louis Neal will be starting in fifth place, followed by Emil Salberg. Tito Wire and Jordan Richardson will be rounding out our fourth row, starting in seventh and eighth. Then rounding out our top 10, Scott Mitchell-Marm and Fraser Hart.
And then we've got the championship contenders of Daniel Hurlock and Thomas O'Leary starting 11th and 12th. Remember, they only have 2 laps and 1 lap of boost in this one. Jack Nicholls in 13th, just missing out, sadly, on that top 12 reverse pole. Martha Arrington should be starting 14th. Jordan Osborne 15th. Alan Smith for Forever 16, starting 16th. Mitch Murray in 17th. Carl Benton for Richmond Co Racing in 18th. Zach Evans, unlucky there in race 2, had a really good race 1. See what they can do from 19th. Johan Kajon in 20th for Brabham, and Oliver Rogers starting 21st. I'm watching this radar like a hawk.
Yes, a few of our viewers, lovely to have you with us, spotting the Easter egg in the in the title sequence of a car going around backwards. There's quite a few Easter eggs looking up and down the TCUK championship this year, if you look hard enough. So that's all I'll say on Easter eggs. So yes, as we wait for our drivers to round out their formation lap, all to play for. We've got a good mix of tyres in the top 10, for example, a mixture of softs and mediums, a lot of front-wheel drive cars up there too, as well as a few rear-wheel drive cars. I think Callum Wilson, will be pretty happy with his starting position, starting third.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the best spots to be with those medium tyres, though. Didn't have the best start last time out. Ben Willis, obviously starting on pole. We're hoping to make use of the mediums. It's just there. It's whether the softs last, as we've seen so many times. And Louis Neal, obviously, will be a BMW starting on the soft, so it'll be interesting to see how their start on the grid is.
Yes, and a couple of the front-wheel drive, I think particularly Scott Mitchell-Marm, had an incredible start in the front-wheel drive Ford Focus, so we'll have to see how he gets on, as well as everyone else, of course. So as we just wait for our 21st runner and rider to come up to the grid, we will wait for them to just get into position, which they should be doing so now. And we'll just wait for our final time for the lights to come on, for the revs to rise, and round 17 to begin. Lights out and away we go. Pretty even start on the front row. A little bit of delay there from the BMW. Another slow start, unfortunately, there for a BMW. But Ben Willis leads into turn 1, closely followed by Jack London. Some close side-by-side racing into Ritchie's as they run down towards the Wilson hairpin on lap 1.
Yeah, it looks like they've all made it through turn 1. Well, they all made it to turn 2 as Hurlock's making an interesting dive down the inside, making it 3 wide. As, it looks like they've all made it out alive. And obviously Luke Mitchell and Salberg making good starts, but Wilson trying to recover there as there's a whole congregation of them going through Palmer as the top 4 try and run away early.
So they come through 2 by 2, and there's no need for an arc yet. We don't have any rain, but here the whole field comes through in one lump into Agostini. Everyone giving each other some racing room, which is good to see. They'll have to sort themselves out as they run into Hamilton. This left-hander definitely only wide enough for one car through there. A few are still doing it side by side, and looks like we still got some side by side action. One of the King's cars there scrapping with a BMW.
Yeah, so Leary is down to 12th and Hurlock So O'Leary's still in 12th, sorry, and Herlock's made a few positions up to 8th. As they come into the Bentley Straight and kick up a bit of dust. There's a bit of a slipstream race going on. Even at the front looks close. There's Jack London and Ben Rillis going into next corner. They're just going to hold it together. It looks like Jack's got the inside, having to climb the curb. And I think he's going to get the exit here. And he's got the inside at bomb hole as Luke Mitchell watches on.
Luke Mitchell got the grandstand seat there. Looks like Willis a little bit out of position, not on the racing line, losing momentum, and now finds himself on the outside of this ever tightening right-hand corner, which eventually ends into this left-hander at Murray's. So Willis under attack, losing a few places, and Calamity Car having a little lawn cutting experience there.
A little rally experience going on here at Snetterton this evening as Mitch Marie decides to go. Interesting line up to 16th. I'm sure may have to give some places back there. Yeah, Willis, I think, lost that one position to Jack and then was just out of line and just decided, you know what, let's let Mitchell go. There's no point trying to fight that one too hard and see what they can do from here. Obviously, London and Mitchell both on softs as well, so that's really going to benefit them. And maybe Ben's just thinking, I'll just look after these mediums and see if I can fight these two front-wheel drive soft guys later.
So, very good point. Yes, we've got a little bit of difference in tyre use. Looks like Willis now deciding to use a little bit of his boost just to stay in contention here with our leading two. But yes, we'll have to see how these Ford Focuses take care of their tyres. Long way to go yet, and as we've seen, those front-wheel drive cars have been struggling with their tyres. So as they wake their way through Hamilton here for the second time of asking, let's just see what's going on here down in for P13 and P12. We've got Thomas O'Leary not having the ideal start to his race here. Down to 13th place.
Yeah, he's kind of just lost out there to Osborne. And obviously now only got one lap of boost, whereas all these cars are going to have about 8. So it's going to be the same thing as Luke Mitchell now takes the lead ahead of London. It looks like they've used their boost on lap 2, their first lap of boost. So making use of the boost, get ahead and see if they can scamper. There's a whole load of them behind.
Absolutely. As these folks scrap, it's only going to keep the pack in contention, and with the long straights, the slipstream effect and boost for added measure, definitely could have some solid pack racing here if the leaders continue to scrap over position. Sometimes you just want to work together, build a gap.
Yeah, let's get a replay hit. Alan Smith with a nice overtake around the outside here, so he's going to have watching them all go 2 by 2, and then at the start, and he's going to dive around the outside. Just saw the gap there and went, well, I'll put my car in it and see what happens. And actually, yeah, very well done there. Nice little overtake going on.
Absolutely, just opened up for him there, made the most of it. Yeah, sure, you take the shortest route. I'll just carry the momentum around the outside. Thank you very much. Lovely stuff. 2 places gained.
Just watching. Yeah, he's just kind of early checkout. Nice 1.3 second lead. I'm watching a group of about from 6th backwards to about 15th. As it all going through. It's Scott Mitchell-Marm currently holding on to that 6th place. But look at the group.
Yeah, having a look at Scott Mitchell-Marm.
Just a bit of a train at the moment, isn't it? It's kind of a bit like the mid-race lull. Oh dear, that's somebody's hit the immovable barriers, that pseudo wire, and the cars having to go round. And that's our first retirement, I think, this evening.
Say mid-race lull, the car catches fire. Curse of the commentator strikes again, but yes, I think that's pseudo wire hitting the tyre stack there, and that Honda Civic is no more.
Yeah, that blew up. That was a solid hit. Don't know if he maybe didn't be able to see or just turned in too early, but that is thank you and good night from that Honda Civic.
So, final race of the evening. Mechanics, well, in the virtual world, thankfully won't be too taxed by that one, but an explosive way to round out your evening's racing, that's for sure. But I think you're absolutely right to call out, who knows, perhaps unsighted. It's really tricky through that Hamilton left-hander with the tyre stack there. If you're close behind another car, you just don't see it until it's too late.
Yep, you have to guess where it is. If you guess wrong, obviously it's a tough pill to swallow, as we're looking at Fraser Hart fighting with 17th place watchers. I think Fraser started quite high up, so they had an issue. So started 9th this race, so still went down quite a few positions at the start. Must have had a problem. So, yep, you can see that at the bottom seat over there first DNF of the evening. I thought we were going to get 3 races where everyone finished, which may have been a first in VMO, but sadly that tyre stack has decided otherwise.
So, unfortunately, not to be. Yes, I think that's a bit of a rarity, isn't it? Just the nature of touring car racing. But yes, unfortunately, we do have Cedo being our first DNF of this race. So so there we go. It is racing sometimes. Just riding along, watching Thomas O'Leary, obviously winning in very good style last time around, running around in 11th place at the moment, so gaining a few places, but certainly a ways to go yet, as we've got Mitch Marie and the Cupra, the Unlimited Cupra here, really giving a good fight round Williams onto the Bentley straight. Let's see what Mitch can do here. Oh, he just tucks in for a bit of slipstream. Perhaps he'll have a look down into Brundle.
Let's have a little look. No one's using too much boost at the moment. Wilson's used a couple. People used one. So who are the big movers? Obviously, Ben's pole to 4th, and Mitchell went from 4th to 1st. They've swapped over. No big movers. Obviously, O'Leary's now made a place up to 11th, but Herlock made 3 places up to 8th. That'll be good for the championship.
So it's interesting. I've seen a bit of a trend over our round so far of folks using that boost to help cover off that tyre disadvantage. Be interesting to see if anyone's cottoned on to that. Perhaps the front-wheel drive runners to save some of that boost to help mitigate that tyre drop-off. We will see. We've got Mitchell Marm and Salberg, the 2 Kings drivers. Looks like they're cooperating, working together, trying to get onto the back of Ben Willis and his Honda Civic. Always helpful when you've got a teammate working with you, particularly when trying to make some progress and catch cars ahead. You don't have to worry so much about perhaps defending if you've got a colleague in close proximity.
Yeah, definitely rear gunner. Obviously, hopefully they've worked out between themselves who's being the rear gunner. Both on soft, so you can't even say, well, I'm on the better tyre, should let me through. And yeah, at the moment, Luke Mitchell, though, 2.5 gap, going okay so far. It's kind of doing. I thought the Ford was flashing their headlights us to say hello. Just going through the motions. So far, so good. Not quite halfway through the race just yet, but keeping that gap to Jack London nice and healthy. I should also point out that my weather radar says it's currently raining in Snetterton racetrack. So I think we found out what the issue is. My radar.
Well, who knows? We've got to plug in. It brings in the real weather. It may do so before the end of this race, but good move here being put on by Louis Neal. Now splitting apart the 2 Kings car. Mitchell Marm now down to 7th, Neal up to 6th. Looks like that little dynamic that we were just describing may have just been upset there by the BMW driver. So Salberg and Mitchell Marm now have work to do to regain some positions.
Yep, we've got a yellow in sector 3. Sadly, Johan Kajon has sadly gone off near bottom hole. Not quite sure what happened there, but that's then down to 20th and running last now, sadly.
So a little bit of a delayed exit there for Louis out of Murray's. Mitchell Marm not able to make the most of it, though, interestingly, as they run on the centre straight towards Ritchie's for a 6th time. Just looking up towards our leaders, we've got a little bit of a equidistant gap between 2nd place and 3rd, but I can see that London is actually using his boost, perhaps just trying to eat into some of the advantage that Mitchell has. Wilson also now up into 3rd place using that boost to try and catch the back of London. So
I would say, is it London having to use it to defend more than attack?
Well, we'll have to see. Perhaps just feeling the pressure, that advance of that BMW in the mirrors can do great things. O'Leary up to 10th. He's been able to get around the drag there. I believe that's of Richardson. So he's making his way back forward, recovering, having gone backwards a few places in the early going.
I'm just seeing as Luke Mitchell on the Bentley straight. So I said lap 7. So it's going to rain on the next lap. I'm sure of it. And if it does, I'm going to go buy myself a lottery ticket. So we've got a bit of everyone fighting here. Got Willis versus Salberg versus Neal. Salberg's got the inside for the next corner. Are they going to take it? Willis is going to hold it out. And then there should be juice and space at the inside. It'll be a tight one. Yeah, knocks. And and then been spun around in front of Neal. That's unlucky there.
Unlucky indeed. A little bit of replay of the incident we saw, very similar in race 2. Always tough when you're defending hard into Nelson like that. You are then completely compromised on the exit, and well, 3 into 1 does not go. So, unfortunate to see the drag driver rotated there. That is unfortunately what can happen sometimes on the exit of Nelson.
What this does mean is that O'Leary is now just behind Herlock because we get a replay. So looks like it takes a little bit too much curb and then just gets pushed side by one, and Neil, in trying to avoid it, has then gone straight into the path. So I can't really blame Neil for that one. Just the car in front going sideways. I'm sure they did their best to try and avoid, but yeah, just unlucky there. There's lots of curb of trying to hold that inside line.
Yeah, as I was trying to describe, you're dancing the car so much through Brundle there. You know, hitting the rev limiter, dancing on the brakes, trying to get the car to rotate and turn. And as you say, you run ever so slightly wide, you hit that sausage curb on the inside, and the car goes all over the place like a floppy jelly. And unfortunately, Willis not quite able to gather it together, and just wrong place, wrong time for the BMW. So there we go, racing. That's the way it goes sometimes. Speaking of racing, we've got Callum Wilson. He's well and truly caught the back of Jack London. So again, rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive. Perhaps this is the start of that crossover point between the tyre life, between the front and the rear-wheel drives. Lap 7, Phil. No rain yet, but it might be raining some good racing.
That's a terrible joke. Yes, it's obviously, I'm just looking there. London and Wilson have, after this lap, they can use their boost to the end, whereas Mitchell can use boost to the end and has the fastest lap. So it's looking okay so far for Mitchell, as we're just looking at Martha down in 19th, fighting Ben Willis in 18th. Ben trying to recover. Oh, look at that, line astern. That's a wonderful shot for the Kings Racing, running in 5th, 6th and 7th. Hey! I don't know, you sunk my battleship. So what's interesting here then is, yeah, I think Salberg and Nichols have the same amount of boost left, 5 laps, and Mitchell's following at the back with 4. So he's now even more of a rear gunner. Be a good result for Kings there in the old constructors if they get those 3 across like that. Yeah, sadly we are now on to lap 8, and sadly no rain. Well, my radar says it is raining, so I blame the radar.
Well, while all this is going on, guess who's come together again? It's Herlock and O'Leary, although Richardson has just inserted himself into the mixture, so there we go. Commentators getting it wrong again. This is nothing new. But our championship protagonists, again, racing hard, racing fair. Richardson getting in amongst it, though, in his Drake Honda Civic.
Wherever we're on board for O'Leary, his car wants to go sideways. Look at the drifting. You can just about see his hands. You just see halfway through the corner, he's sliding it the other way. And as we get a little bit of a picture view, you can see he'll go through this hairpin, turns it in nicely. Are we going to get any bites of that cherry? A little bit there, just really kind of sliding it around. This will be a good one to watch, because obviously you do need to slide it through this corner. Takes a few bites.
Oh no!
Who's that? That's one of the Kings.
I believe that's a King's car. Yep, Salberg, I believe. Unfortunately, he may have come a cropper there on the run through Hamilton. So the 3 Kings have become 2.
Well, they did became 1.
Been joined by the trio.
So that was a case of Salberg as the front of the trio, hitting the tyre stack, then getting hit by Nichols, who then nearly gets hit by Mitchell Munn, sorry. So very lucky that those 2 are still running together. But yeah, Emil Salberg still 1 points though, still 13th, so still some points to make. But it has now brought Jordan Richardson right up to the back of the other 2 Kings, a pair of Kings.
Indeed, and Richardson making his way forward there as well. Good move made. Yeah, let's see a replay here as we run through Hamilton. So, yes, there's working together. There's sharing knowledge, and then there's sharing the car. That's not quite the normal team behaviour. Yeah,
it's a bit unlucky there for Mill, because he had a car in front of him that you couldn't see where those tyre barriers were. As Richardson is right on the back of Mitchell Marm, making Mitchell Marm go defensive. So Mitchell Marm is now back to playing rear gunner, this time for Nichols. As be careful, because it's O'Leary and Herlock right behind them as well.
So you go defensive into Richie's, you then a little bit under threat here, and oh my goodness me, what a move from Herlock. He's got that one stopped. I think Richardson just about saw him, but look at that. He's compromised on the exit, and that gives O'Leary a chance. So boy, oh boy, late on the brakes for Herlock. Made that one work, and Richardson is the one who's dropped a few places.
Yeah, I was unlucky there. Just kind of like Herlock just chucks it down and kind of managed to jump out of the way. Now O'Leary's looking around the outside of Herlock, but thinks better of it. just needs to follow him home this race. Don't need anything silly. You know, O'Leary, Herlock's not making a massive chunk of points here in the championship, so probably if you offered an 8th for O'Leary and 7th for Herlock, O'Leary would be the more likely to take it.
So playing the long game, Alan Prost was famously just did just enough, whatever he needed to do to win championships. And as you say, Phil, not the biggest loss. You don't need to risk anything. But here we are. They're racing hard, and O'Leary is on the boost. So is Herlock. They want to race for every inch and mile. Oh, a switcheroo on the brakes. That is very bold, but not quite working this time round for O'Leary. These two putting on an absolute clinic for us on some racecraft, and a good bit of tete-a-tete between these two.
Yeah, and Jordan Richardson's got the best seat in the house, watching it all play through. Doesn't need to do anything too silly. Just see what happens to those two. Although I doubt these guys are going to be knocking each other off the circuit anytime soon. But you never know. Just sit there and see what happens. We've got a whole line of them now. Obviously, all got boosts left to use in these final 3 laps.
So across the start-finish line they run, and they're all starting to, as you say, concertina back together.
Sorry, that's important. Richardson's O'Leary's now out of boost, so Richardson's still got 2 laps. So that's definitely not over.
So let's just see what's going on here for 15th place, the final points paying position. We've got a scrap going on here. We've got recovering King's driver, we've got Zach Evans. He's currently running in 15th place, although we're having to race hard against the calamity car there of, I believe that was Rogers, recovering well on the soft tyres. So scrapping for every point up for offer. And we've got Fraser Hart there also trying to get himself back into the points.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of pride going on here. Battle for pride, but yeah, the battle for that last point is looks like Zach Evans dives down the inside. Is there going to be enough space on the exit for Rogers? Yes, there is. It looks like Zach has done it.
Yeah, lovely move. Nice. Just enough space there to get that one done, and he did it. So good pass there. Forward momentum through Agostini. Good stuff. Now returning to O'Leary and Herlock. As you say, Phil, quite rightly, O'Leary is out of boost. Meanwhile, we have Richardson who has some boost left. So does Herlock. These three glued together. I think the stars of the round so far, these three. Through they go through Nelson towards Bombhole for this, the 10th of 12 times of asking. And that BMW, as you say, Phil, getting a little bit lively on the rear. Perhaps that's how he's carrying the momentum, carrying the speed through. I
think it is. It's now going to be a case of, is Herlock now going to struggle on those soft? Is he on the softs? No, he's on the medium. Is he going to struggle on those tyres at the end? There's a yellow in sector 3. It looks like Emil Selberg's been involved in a tangle again. And oh no, just went too much to the curb and went flying.
So another curb claiming another car. They are brutal around here, so unfortunate there for Selberg, but recovering. Just watching Richardson here, definitely starting to ask some serious questions of O'Leary, but O'Leary not getting intimidated, not looking in his mirrors too much. He's focusing eyes forward. Herlock having, I think, definitely to take care of his car, his tyres. Very good line there this time through Palmer. Nice late apex, get the power on, get the car straight as they run now down towards the hairpin of Agostini. You can just see that BMW causing all sorts of grief. Just you can almost feel the extra speed the BMW has over the Astra at this stage of the race.
Yep, and they've both got, I think, obviously, no, it's Herlock that's got 1 lap of boost left, so can use it to defend once, which there may be enough to hold on to it. Are they going to use it this lap? Because O'Leary is close in the old slipstream there, so if I was Herlock, I'd be looking to use it on this lap and just pull away and then save yourself the grief in the last lap. Are they going to use it? No, they are not. They are saving it for the last lap.
So last lap showdown, and you can just see those two pulling away, interestingly, ever so slightly away from the Honda Civics. Perhaps a bit more downforce on that Drake Civic. But still in very close contention, and any advantage gained on the straight there, I mean, you can just see that Honda Civic close up on the brakes, a bit more corner focus perhaps in Richardson's setup. But O'Leary definitely, I think, going to cause Herlock a lot of attention in this, the final lap we're about to come on to. Whoa, sideways on the brakes! O'Leary just about hangs on.
Hangs on, and that's just his normal driving style. Richardson is also got some boost, as has Benton. which may actually scupper Richardson's chance of attacking O'Leary as Benton's looking down the inside into turn 1 for the last time they'll go through, and looks like they've just about got it. That'd be good for teammates there. I don't know if Benton's going to fight O'Leary, I doubt it, but it'd be good to hold Richardson back, who's going to look around the outside instead. Try and cut underneath the inside. No, he cannot.
So good traction from the Richardson Co racing car, and I think we mentioned teammates a little while ago. I think O'Leary will be pleased to see a friendly car, a friendly face behind him. He can focus fully on Herlock just ahead. Huge defence into Agostini this time around. Can O'Leary try the outside line? He's having a look. A little bit of a slide, a little bit of loss of grip. This time around, not quite able to hang on around the outside there. Tough move to try and pull off, but a good effort all the same.
Yep, definitely so. As look around the outside here instead, before we get onto the Bentley Straight, which is an interesting line, but I think now Herlock will be able to use that boost and pull away, unless they've had an issue and they can't use it. I'd be very surprised. I expect Herlock to run away at this point. Yes. And Benton's now got the boost on O'Leary.
Saving all the boost, I think, for this final straight, this final lap, just to make it completely uncontestable. And it looks like, yes, Benton helping out his teammate, not giving too much of a challenge into Brundle and Nelson this time around. But Luke Mitchell, he took the lead, he kept his eyes forward, and he as well has had a clean, clinical, and very decisive race win here in race 3 this evening. Congratulations to you, Luke. Callum Wilson has come home second. Let's see how the rest of the field finish out. Do we have some more drag racing between the King's cars? Not quite this time around, but good result there for Jack Nicholls and Scott Mitchell-Marm as the rest of the field make their way across the line.
Yeah, Benton lost it going into the final corner, just kept turning right into that left-hander. I think someone else went with them at the end. I thought I saw 2 accidents. I did. I think that was Mitch Marie suddenly going on an adventure. Yes, it was. A separate accident. So what was Mitch Marie doing? Diving down the inside and then just locked up and jumped. Literally jumped to the curb and managed to recover. However, I think finished in 12th in the end. So let's get a replay. So this is Mitch Marie. Got a car on the inside, locks up and just bounces over. There's Benton. He's aiming towards nearly. But yeah, lost a few places, I think, at the end, or did they actually not lose anything? Maybe just the car they were fighting. But yeah, great race from Luke. 4-second gap. And easy as you like, really, wasn't it?
Managed those tyres. We predicted, again falsely, what are we on about as commentators? We get it always wrong. Rain? What rain? But no, lovely run there by Luke. Managed that very, very nicely. That front-wheel drive soft tyre combo, not an issue for him. So let's run through our final race results for this evening, round 6 of TCUK here at Snetterton. Luke Mitchell wins from Callum Wilson, Jack London rounding out our podium for this off-third race of the evening. Louis Neal, good run for him, finishing in 4th place. And then we have the pair of King's cars, Jack Nicholls and Scott Mitchell-Marm, finishing at 5th and 6th place. Daniel Herlock and Thomas O'Leary have given us some great racing this evening. They finished in 7th and 8th. Rounding out the 3rd race, and to close out our top 10, we have Jordan Richardson for Drake and Jordan Osborne, a great result for the Cooper driver, finishing in 10th.
In 11th place, it's Carl Benton there. So he lost a couple of places at the end. That's a slight mistake. Zach Evans in 12th. Mitchell Marie, again, another driver, I think, just lost 1 position in the end. To 13th. Fraser Hart, 14th. Alan Smith not finishing 16th. Has managed to finish 15th and get a point. Martha Addington, 16th. Oliver Rogers in 17th, and then Ben Willis there got unlucky with that spin round at 18th. Johan Kajin 19th. Emil Salberg there as well also went on an adventure via the tyre barrier in 20th, and sadly our only retirement of the evening, Cedo Wire in 21st.
Snetterton never fails to deliver some good racing, and again our championship contenders definitely making themselves known and putting on a real exhibition there, which is great stuff to see. No rain, Phil. You promise all the weather and nothing happens. Oh, what
I know. Well, hopefully 2 weeks' time. We're going north, so it always rains in Scotland, right? So we'll just have to base it on that one.
Yes, indeed. Well, let's talk about our next few rounds. We mentioned it at the start. Let's mention them here. We will be back with you in 2 weeks' time, the 24th of September, and we'll be making our visit to Scotland, to Knockhill, and the tricky, I won't quite call it a triangle, but the challenging circuit we have in Scotland, with its, of course, famous chicane, which can always cause a little bit of chaos. Following that, we'll have Donington Park, Silverstone and Brands Hatch to round out our championship season. We're definitely, slowly but surely, kind of getting towards that championship focus. We called out Dan Hurlock, we called out Thomas O'Leary. It's going to start getting, I think, we're definitely going to have to start calling out that championship picture a bit more and really focusing on how they're doing. Every point counts.
Yeah, definitely so. I think O'Leary did pretty well there this evening. Just kind of minimised any points lost. If anything, I think they've gained a couple. So going into the final 4 evenings of racing, but still, like I said, 12 rounds, anything can happen. So still up for grabs. But I think it's now pretty much confirmed with those two how they've done tonight. So it's a 2-horse race.
Say 2-horse race potentially, but we've still got a bunch of racing to go, 12 more rounds, and anything can happen, and it may very well do. So Phil, it's been a good evening of racing, some great respect, some great overtakes and racing put on some display, and some great results for some of the drivers up and down the field as well. Your closing thoughts?
I think even, it was a slightly smaller grid this evening, but there's still some great racing up and down the grid. No, not too much chaos. I think the only chaos was divided by bomb holds, bollards, and tyre stacks. So that's always good to see. And excited to see if we can get people back in ready for Knockhill in 2 weeks' time.
Absolutely. Well, good thing that the Knockhill with its famous chicane and its tyre stacks, we won't have to wait too long to see some more tyre stack potential intervention into the racing. But no, it has been fantastic to watch and some great racing put on by our field. Thank you so much, folks, for taking part tonight and putting on such a good show. If you're new to VMO, new to the broadcast, again, thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in finding out more, search for us, of course, through our social media pages, our Discord, and you could find yourself on the grid next year for our next season of TCUK. So, Snetterton, it's been a joy, it's been a pleasure. It always gives some good racing, and we have been spoilt this evening. So, say on behalf of the whole broadcast crew, Phil, Tom, our cameraman extraordinaire, and myself, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time at Knockhill.